If you're anything like me, like learning anatomy through sports injuries, this is episode 49. Inky Johnson, September 9th, 2006. A classic, but a great one to go over because of the injury that he suffered. So Inky is the cornerback, and he's going to come down and make this tackle. Kind of led with his shoulder there, and he goes down and he blacks out. He's unresponsive for just a minute, and that's not good if you're Inky Johnson. So let's take a look at it one more time. So he's going to come down slow motion. So he's going to lead with his shoulder, and it's going to be almost a shoulder-to-shoulder tackle, and that is going to cause a excessive force on the clavicle and the humerus, which is going to go down and depress, which ends up injuring the subclavian artery of Inky Johnson. So subclavian artery injury as well as a brachial plexus injury. So your subclavian artery goes just below your clavicle. Makes sense there. Subclavian under the clavicle. And the subclavian vein comes off of the aorta. So being an artery, it's pumping blood away from your heart into your extremities. So with a large force like that downwards on the clavicle, it could lead to a rupture, and that's exactly what happened here. So he went limp because of the brachial plexus injury, which is basically a bunch of nerves that come off of your spinal cord, C5 to T1. They come together and they run down through your arm and through your armpit, and they innervate muscles and sensation of your arm and shoulder. So it breaks up into roots, trunks, divisions, cords, and branches. So it goes roots, trunks, divisions, cords, and then branches at the end. The way you can remember that is Randy Travis drinks cold beer, RTDCB. Randy Travis drinks cold beer. That's how I remember it. But anyway, so immediate paralysis of the arm is what happened for Inky here. It's not a stinger, okay? A stinger is transient and acute loss of sensation or tingling or numbness and unable to move the arm, but it does recover shortly after the injury. So this wasn't a stinger because he lost motor function. So what did they do? He was carted off the field. He actually had to have emergency surgery due to blood leaking into his chest cavity onto his lungs from the subclavian artery. They did a subclavian artery repair and emergency surgery. They took the great saphenous vein from his leg. They put it up and repaired the subclavian artery with that. So they managed to save his life that way. But there was bad news that the brachial plexus repair failed, which led to severe atrophy over time of Inky's right arm. So you can see how it's kind of thin and he's not able to move it. He's got wrist drop. That's a radial nerve injury, which the radial nerve comes from the brachial plexus. You see how this arm is toned and strong, and this one is kind of just limp and really thin. So that's what happens when you don't have nerve innervation to your muscles to keep it toned. He actually went on to graduate, and he didn't let this injury determine what he was going to do in his life. He wanted to be in the NFL, but instead he went on to get his Bachelor of Arts in Political Science and a Master of Arts in Sports Psychology, and he is now a prolific motivational speaker speaking for football teams, Fortune 500 companies, and so on. So that is Inky Johnson.